The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And from inside the SWBC podcast studio at Ford Center in the Star in Frisco, this is Mick Shots without the Mick.
Without the Mick.
Bill Jones with Everson Walls.
We're Mickless.
We are about to have our highest rated podcast ever.
And the most informative, even-keeled report.
That's exactly right. Mickey's stuff is here. He has his Yeti here, and he's got his legal pad here, but there's no Mickey Spagnola right now.
Oh, man, he's got other chores that he needs to do.
That's what he's saying.
I gave him a chore list.
That's what he's saying anyway. In the meantime, we will keep you company, and we're going to assume that Mickey might show up in a matter of moments, although now I see him walking down the hallway.
Man,
let's see if
so
his key works.
Why are you here already, bro?
And
we thought we were going to have some fun
lo
without
and behold,
you.
we're going to wait. We're going to wait and get his headset on. And he says he's got some breaking news, but that sounds like an alibi to me, showing up late. And
yes.
Okay, now he's got to adjust his seat. He's got to raise his seat.
Yeah, his seat's higher than ours, yes.
Who was sitting here?
A normal person.
You guys should have had all this arranged for me.
We had ready back for a normal human being.
He's got his high chair, and now he's at the microphone.
You got him strapped in.
Okay, yeah.
Why are you guys making fun of me? I was out there working.
You're not here. You weren't.
I told you I wasn't going to be
fun
here.
Of you for the entire session.
No,
we weren't even going to talk about football.
You're going to get right off the presses here.
So what in the world are you doing?
Listening to Dak Prescott.
Oh, really?
You know,
that was quick.
I think he's a quarterback.
Yeah, the big guy. You call
the big guy.
The big guy.
The big guy was doing his press conference first instead of last today.
Oh, okay. Because he's got to go in for treatment.
Yes.
Okay. So what do we know?
So
this is breaking news from the Star in Frisco.
He said, I am feeling good. I've had 2 weeks to do a lot of rehab. And someone said, so is it safe to say that you're playing on Sunday? He goes, safe to say.
Safe to say.
So I think the funny part was, you know, he said they were asking him how close he was. He goes, look, I want to play in the game. I want to play in every game. And he goes, but I understand the big picture, and, you know, we want to play a lot more games and play the last game of the season. So when they decided that I was going to sit, he said, I got over it quickly. Mm-hmm. And then he's any chance that you were going to sit this week? And he goes, they got their 2 weeks with the bye. So that's all he was going to say.
So he was letting you know that this was all not his idea.
Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly.
This is on them,
weeks.
not on me. If it was up to me, I'm playing every game.
Exactly.
But hell, if you look at it, if it's up to him, then he might damage it again in the games.
And I think
that's
he
why you have
understood it.
trainers and medical staff.
So, and he trusts Britt. I mean, he's
Yes.
worked with him all the way through his rehab for his ankle. Anyway.
And they knew Cooper Rush was going to lead a 2-minute drive, going 75
and throw
yards.
the winning touchdown.
Right.
Yeah.
They
From the
knew that the
4-yard
DB
line.
was going to bounce it off his stomach into Cooper's hands.
Right.
Yeah, all of that was planned.
That's when you're living right.
That's right.
And they're living right so far this season.
They
6-1 with 6 straight wins, going for number 7 in a row, noon Sunday against the Denver Broncos. So there you have it. Dak Prescott is going to start at quarterback, right?
Only
here
on Mick Shots.
Okay.
You're trying to get Mick to double down. Is that what you're doing?
That's right.
Yeah, so if something goes wrong, then we know who to look at.
How did he phrase it again? How did Dak phrase it again?
Safe
to say.
Yeah, that's right.
Safe to say. That
say.
means that's the breaking news.
That's right.
There you go.
Right there.
All right.
And that's the thing about this team when you look at it. I mean, such an unselfish team. We're looking at, I was coming in, I was listening to the reports of Beckham, OBJ, and just all the mess that's going on there. We had kind of talked off the podcast about family members getting involved with Twitter and things of that nature during the game, and in regards to teammates, it's really gotten out of control to where the father's intervention into all of this just took it up another degree. And so now Beckham can't even come back to practice.
Yeah, they excused him again today.
Today, yes, correct. And to me, none of this, well, some of it may have happened, but the father's intervention exasperated everything.
You think Cooper Rush's dad would have said, "Hey, my son deserves to play."
That's right. We need to. Where's Everson Walls? It's quarterback controversy. Let's go.
Or just look at what's going on with the Boston Celtics. Same thing.
Yes, Marcus Smart
infighting.
Tatum and Brown.
Yeah,
it's just sometimes you need to know when to shut up. Ron Springs used to always say, sometimes you just need to know when to shut the blank up. You just need to know it. And it's, that's one of those old school things where you just need to know there's a time and a place to do these things, especially when it's not just you involved. You know it's going to affect other members of your son's team. Not your job. This is your son's job. And to me, I could not see my father. Oh my God, I could never see my father. Right? Could you see your dad doing something stupid like that? Getting involved in this and retweeting this and things of that nature. Just, man, where have we gone? What does it come to?
Yeah. Well, and that's why I think what they've got going here might be something special.
That's right. Wide receivers.
Yeah,
not
especially
being
right?
divas.
No divas out there.
They're cool divas. They have their own style, each one of them, but no one's stepping on each other's toes, and everyone's happy, at least on the surface, for everyone else.
Yeah, and the guys that are backups doing their jobs, coming in, doing what they're supposed to do.
Cedric Wilson,
yes. For sure. Mm-hmm. And at some point Gallup's going to be back, but I don't think Cedric Wilson's going to. Oh no, wait a minute, that's my spot.
Right. Well, as long as Gallup can't throw, then Cedric always has a place on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, the guy who can throw is CeeDee Lamb.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Well, to see him in training camp when they're just kind of screwing around out there.
Interesting there.
Better than Cedric?
Huh?
Better than Cedric
I don't
Wilson?
know if it's better, but he can do it.
But that's another option.
And you know what? And the other – oh, no, we talked about
That's something about the 88.
I think so.
Des Bryant could throw it.
And he can deep –
left-handed.
And he can deep snap.
Drew Pearson could throw it.
He was a quarterback.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's
High
right.
school.
I don't know that Michael Irvin could.
I've never seen Michael throw
Mike
one.
is like, I'm catching it. I ain't throwing nothing. This is not my bag.
Was that not good? Did you guys watch Peyton and the Mannings
I watched
on Monday?
parts of it, yeah.
When they had Michael on? And it was strange because Michael was kind of way laid back, like he was laying back in his chair, and
Not
then,
the hype guy
and
that
then
you
they
see on NFL
and then
Network.
and then they fired him up because they found some old
Yeah, I did see it.
Miami Hurricane film.
Wearing number 47.
He had 47 on, and he was lined up in a three-point stance.
As a wide receiver.
That's the way they make them line up.
Right?
I didn't realize it was that late.
Yes.
I mean, that was in the 80s.
That was 80. That was 87.
87. They were.
Yeah.
He was in the
And
slot.
he was in the slot off the line of scrimmage.
He was off
with
the
his
line of-
hand on the ground.
and the split end.
pads on, right?
And the split end
He's
was
looking like
too.
a tight end.
Yeah.
The
Looking like a
receiver
tight end.
was. And they were talking about that they were coached that. And I don't know if it was Hubbard Alexander.
Well, he
who
said his
coached.
wide receiver coach, and
Which
it was
would have
Hubbard.
been
then.
Hubbard Alexander
was
said,
Xanax, yeah.
how do you see a sprinter? He doesn't start from a stand-up position. He starts down in a stance.
And that's probably before that people were getting up jamming them all the time.
Well, that's what I was going to say,
Yeah.
because when you're down crouched like that,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy
I'm
to jam
loving
the
it.
guy,
I'm
right?
loving that.
Yeah.
You stay down there because you're gonna live down there this game.
I'm trying. I don't know when in the NFL receivers quit getting down in a three-point
I don't
stance.
remember ever seeing Bob
No,
Hayes in
yeah.
a three-point
I don't remember
stance.
one coming into the pros having to deal with that. Even when I was
Yeah.
at Grambling State University, we're up. They're up in my face. I'm in their face. So yeah.
So it must have been the 50s, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when they were shooting free throws underhanded.
So Hayes came in 65, whatever. So, and all I remember is him with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
Ice ball.
Yeah, right.
That's a shame. That's all they remember.
That's all they remember.
Wow, that's crazy. This guy's got a gold medal and Super Bowl ring. That's all Bill remembers.
So maybe that's what in the NFL that's what proved it wrong, that you don't have to be in a sprinter's stance in order to.
Not that he
that game.
That he caught the longest pass in Cowboys history or whatever.
None of that stuff. No.
Yeah.
Which is a funny story.
Took a while to trickle down to the NFL, to the college.
What was it, like 99? 95 yards?
I thought it was 99.
I think it's 95.
95.
Tony was 99.
Tony was 99.
Yeah, but
pass
it's 95.
Play, pass play.
I remember him telling the story. It's like, well, how did that transpire? Like, what was the play call? He goes, well, Dandy. He goes, we're in the huddle, and it's cold, and I think they were playing. Was it at Pittsburgh? I don't remember that part. But he said, so we get in the huddle, and he said, and Dandy goes, hey, Bobby, it's cold out here. He goes, and I need to get to the
Washington.
He goes, I need to get to the sideline and get a cup of coffee. So just run as fast as you can, straight down the field, and I'll hit you.
Good stuff, man. That's good stuff, man.
95 yards,
pretty
Don Meredith to
sophisticated.
Bob Hayes at Washington, November 13th, 1966.
Right? Just do it, man. All of these.
Let's go. Let's get off the field.
Strategy and things of that nature. Are you better than him? Yes. Well, then go show me.
That was 55 years ago next week.
Wow.
So there you go.
Crazy.
A trip down memory lane with Mickey.
Yes.
We need to get that sponsored.
Right? We can find one probably every time.
Oh, yes. We sure can. Now, especially with this organization.
All right. Continue now with your practice report, Mickey.
Gosh, there wasn't much different today. So today, let's get to the practice
I like
report.
it. You get to hear the pad.
Working on the chords.
That's our sound effects.
Working on the chords before practice was CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. CeeDee kind of turned an ankle in practice yesterday, and it didn't look like he was going to do much today. So I'm sure he did some of the individual drills. I'm sure they'll list him as limited. Mike wasn't quite sure about Gallup, if he would be up this week or not. I think a lot of that's going to have to do with what they decide to do with that last open roster spot, because they would have to. If they fill it, I'm thinking they need another linebacker for special teams. So Francis Bernard probably would take that spot, and then they would have to cut somebody. So maybe they got another week before they have to make a decision on Gallup. So next week for sure.
They haven't signed Jalen yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going.
As a matter of fact, Ambar did the best thing in their podcast.
What?
Derek saw that all those questions were coming up, so he asked the question, should they re-sign Jalen? Ambar got up and walked out.
No, this guy's fault. He's the one started it.
I did
Talking
not.
about all of those questions. He started it.
No, we mailbag question. I got a Twitter.
He started it though. It all started when he put it out there.
That's right. I said because of the Jabril Cox injury.
Yes, he started it.
Uh-huh.
Bill Jones, guys.
That's right.
Bill Jones.
That's
What's
right.
your handle,
I was
man? Tell him your
CBS 11 Bill Jones.
Did you also get people started to go out on Dealey Plaza on Monday, waiting for John F. Kennedy Jr. to show up? Because hundreds of people listened to you.
Bill could have started that, man.
I did not see that.
Yeah, they were down there waiting on JFK to come back.
You're not with the Q people.
I'm sorry, JFK Jr.
I have no idea what
Junior.
I have no idea what you're
But then
talking
somebody pointed out that they also thought John F. Kennedy was going to show up, because he's not really dead. They faked his death. He didn't get shot on Dealey Plaza.
Okay.
And then somebody pointed out, he would be 104 years old. Yeah.
Living well.
Yeah.
Living well in downtown.
All right, back to the injury
Back
report.
to reality. Yeah.
Tyron Smith not going to practice, so he's out. He's not playing. And Jarwin wasn't out there either, so I would imagine he's out too. So they were both.
How did he get hurt? How did Jarwin get hurt?
He got hit over the middle. It was a hip thing. It was that play that he got. The quarterback kind of sold him out. Yeah, exactly. And then I think everybody else was listed as limited. So I think going forward, they also activated. They needed to do it. His 3 weeks. 3 weeks were up. McEwen is on the 53-man roster. So if Jarwin
timing again right there.
Again,
Jarwin gets hurt, you need a tight end,
so
and it's time for McEwen.
Third one with Sprinkle and Schultz.
How is Gallup looking in practice?
He looks, when I see him doing the stuff, he's not I haven't seen him, the part when they get into drills, I mean, other than the individuals, he looks like he's running fine.
He's the fastest on the team, right?
So he looks like that would be a good race.
Gallup, the fastest on the team.
What do you think? Cedric?
I'll have to look it up. I'm sure I've got like combine times.
Yeah, I'm sure Gallup. I'll put money on Gallup.
I wonder what Pollard's is. Pollard's pretty fast.
But Gallup is 100-meter speed.
Yeah.
As opposed to
to
the quickness of Pollard.
I'll look it up.
And CD's fast, but not. I don't think he's track fast.
Yeah, he's just
no. Amari's pretty.
Is he?
Yeah. Once he gets going.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do I have it?
Yeah,
here?
but Amari runs in. He's faster
at the combine. Amari ran a 4.42.
Oh no, Gallup got that.
Gallup at the combine ran a 4.51.
Really? See, he's top end speed.
CD 4.50. Cedric 4.55.
Well, there's no discussion. The fastest guy is going to be Micah Parsons.
There you go.
He ran a 4.39.
How about that?
4.39.
Pollard ran a 4.52. Zeke ran a 4.47.
Zeke is not faster than Gallup.
Do I have?
And see, that's what I mean. There's a difference between a 40 and a 100.
Kelvin Joseph ran a 4.35. Now, now that was.
By the way,
that was.
How's that?
You asked?
Pro day. It wasn't combine for Kelvin Joseph.
I asked. They said someone inside the organization. They said AB is probably your fastest.
Really? I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that, Chris.
Anthony Brown.
I can see that, Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anthony Brown ran a 4.33.
Wow.
I could see that.
4.33 for Anthony Brown.
So quit picking on him.
Oh, my God, man. If I ran a 4.33, oh, my goodness, man.
Maurice Kennedy,
I wouldn't even waste my time with defensive back.
4.49. Deshaun Wright ran a 4.49. So there you go. Anthony Brown is your
What
winner.
you got for Everson Walls in there?
4.71.
That's right. No, 4.74.
What year did you come out?
1980.
4.80.
81.
81, right?
No, but
But they would have timed him in 80.
Yeah, they timed me in
probably.
80. They timed me in 80. Yeah.
There was no.
Were you a December draft pick?
No, but
was
he
it the
didn't,
December
he didn't
draft
get to go to the combine.
I sure did.
Right, but you got
Pro day would
springtime.
be in March.
There was no spring
81.
workouts.
Pro
were there? Pro days?
Not for us.
There
They
was
timed
no
you during
pro
football
days?
season?
Not for us, man. No, we timed before football season.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it was,
that was like in August.
August of 1980.
And I
So-
bet it was on a perfectly manicured grass field.
Well, once the spray disintegrated, then it was just red dirt. So, yeah.
That's why they couldn't get a good 40 time on Jerry Rice because they went to Mississippi Valley State and they're basically running
run
on
the concrete.
dirt.
You got to run on the concrete to get a true.
So here are the top times I've got listed for Cowboys players at the combine, okay? Or it might be a pro day on some of these. Probably combine. Anthony Brown had a 4.33, Kelvin Joseph a 4.35, and Micah Parsons a 4.36.
Golly, man, a linebacker. Jeez.
So there you go. That's unofficial.
Unofficial.
Yeah.
Well, I think he ran like they had 3 times and they took the one in the middle.
And see, let's just be real. As we look at the basis of this, where the hell did the 40 come from, and why? And why just 40?
I don't think I can answer that question.
No one
for
can
you.
because it makes no sense.
Why it was a 40-yard
It does not let you know what kind of
Because
player
back in the day,
you
right,
have.
indoors you were running a 60-yard dash.
And see, here's what I like about it, or I like about the way the Cowboys did it. As much as I complained as a player, those all-around computer drills that they had, To me, that gives you a better look at what you have. I think the 40-yard time, I just think it's so unnecessary because it doesn't show you how well you move your hips. It doesn't show you how fast you. No one ever timed me backpedaling. That's what I did most of my career. I backpedaled. And it's just as essential going backwards as it is going forward.
Right.
Especially depending on the position.
And as we know, with the 40-yard dash, the biggest thing on that is your get-off, right? You got to know how to get off.
You might as well just do 20.
And so that's all those guys do is
you might as well
practice
just
that.
do a 20-yard dash.
Right.
You might as well just do that because as far as I'm
they
concerned,
do
the
time
40
them at
itself,
20 too,
and
by the
they
way.
do, but then how far do you go?
Yeah.
You're telling me that Cedric Wilson and Michael Gallup, if you put them on the 1-yard line and told them to race to the other end zone,
They're going to win.
that Cedric Wilson's going to win. That's what you're telling me. We're talking about a football field, not 40 yards. We're talking about a football field. So where this 40 yards came from, I never understood that. There are so many other things that have to do with playing football, and that's what I got upset about when I was coming out. My drafts, well, I don't even know if I was going to get drafted, but they're looking at my school. They're looking at this 40-yard time. Half the guys down there don't want to be there. You know, they were going to see Louisiana Tech. They're like, you know what? We might as well drop over here at Grambling and see what the hell's going on. Because that's really the attitude of it. They don't care about being there. They don't even want to check their watch or anything. They're ready to get the hell out of there and go home.
You didn't have radar guns?
No, they didn't have no radar guns in 1988.
All right, the origin, according to Wikipedia, and thanks Chris Beam, our crack producer, for leading me in this direction, the origin of the 40-yard dash of timing football players for 40 yards comes from the average distance of a punt and the time it takes to reach that distance. Punts average around 40 yards in distance from the line of scrimmage, and the hang time averages approximately 4.5 seconds. Therefore, if a coach knows that a player can run 40 yards in 4.5 seconds, he will be able to leave the line of scrimmage when a punt is kicked and reach the point where the ball comes down just as it arrives. Thank you, Wikipedia.
And that is the biggest bunch of crap. What are we talking about here? Freaking punts. I got to cover Jerry Rice. I don't have time for any punts. I got to worry about this guy wiggling coming down the field, running straight at me at full speed, and you got to worry about how I cover a punt. I don't think I've ever covered a punt since I got out of high school. I don't think I covered a punt in high school.
So when
the punts at Berkner went like 20 yards, right?
Think about that.
And when Bob Hayes came in as the fastest human in the world,
he was covering punts.
Yeah,
the Berkner punts were shanked into the bench.
I can't remember our punter. I mean, come on, man. So the what? That's the basis
that's
of it.
Apparently.
And so here we are continuing with this foolishness, saying that this is how we judge a player. Parsons, I'm sure is an amazing, we know is an amazing player. But you get him out there against a wide receiver, and you tell him to backpedal and cover that man, I don't give a damn if he ran a 4 flat. He's going to get toasted.
That's why I want him going forward.
That's right. You don't want and see.
You don't want him going backwards.
If you just judge someone on going forward, that's a whole nother thing. Football is just not about going forward. You got to go every direction that's made.
Speaking of fast cornerbacks, did you know this? This is from the same Wikipedia page. It has been said consistently that Darrell Green recorded a time of 4.09 at the Washington football team's training camp in 1986.
Now, that has never been brought out.
I've not heard that before.
So. Yeah, I never have.
Because
either.
they always talk about Chris Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, Dion.
You
had Ron Brown.
Yeah.
Willie Gault.
Olympic sprinter Ron Brown.
Willie Gault.
Willie
Gault,
Gault,
another Olympic sprinter.
Yes,
that's right.
The Jamaicans just broke their record, by the way, a few years ago in the 4x1. So you're talking about Michael Parsons can cover.
Bo Jackson claimed to have run a 40-yard dash with a time of 4.13 seconds.
I can see that.
And there were also reports of Jackson running a 4.12 at the 86 Combine.
Bo knows.
And no, Bo don't know Bob, because Bob can take them all. Okay, they can say all they want. If Bob was here now, Bob would take them all, even at his age.
Jakeem Grant, former Texas Tech Red Raider, I think he's now with Chicago, He was hand-timed by a New Orleans Saints scout running a 4.10 in 2016, potentially beating Jackson's time. But have you been to Lubbock, Texas in the springtime?
Wind-aided, you think?
Wind-aided.
Hey,
Go to ask golfers about Texas.
All I know is I had the opportunity to see the tape of Bob Hayes' 100. And normally when you run 100, right, everybody's kind of together. He was still pulling away
Right.
at the end. Usually, you're going to kind of slow down at some point.
Yeah.
He was still pulling away.
And he almost looked like he didn't look real. He didn't look human.
Yeah, it
He looked like a car.
Looked like somebody just kind of transformed this figure out there.
Mickey, you see what time it is?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, right.
This is
My bad.
This isn't Mick Shots. It's Mick's Tangents.
All right, we'll be back with more Mick
Wow.
Shots in a moment.
I'm surprised Chris is not.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with
And I'm Jay Novacek, and we're both with
United Ag and Turf, the official tractor provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
So, if you need a tractor to bale some hay, a mower to cut some grass, or a gator to get some chores done,
Get a John Deere at United Ag and Turf.
and then let's get to work.
Hey, Jay, that's my line.
Well, not today.
Get to work with a John Deere tractor package that's just right for you and your budget. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Back to Mick Shots.
Download the official app of the Dallas Cowboys to get access to in-market game broadcasts, mobile tickets, daily podcasts, live pregame and postgame shows, game updates, and more. Download in the app or Google Play stores.
Very good, Mickey Spagnola. You got anything else on your legal pad or
I
your
do.
notepad that you would like to share with the class?
And hurry up because the show is going fast.
Yeah, I think we were trying to solve the Rubik's Cube of who was going to play left tackle and right tackle should Tyron Smith not be available.
And what did we speculate as the week began?
I think we did that.
I have my diagram right here in case you guys get lost.
Steele would be going left, and
Yep.
Lael Collins would be going right.
That's right.
And
How's
then
that working out?
Today, Mike McCarthy was talking about, does it make a lot of difference if you're left or right, on the offensive line? And then he got into this long...
See, they've been listening to our show.
This long talk about it, but here was the key thing. He said, footwork based on time in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So in training camp, Lael Collins was always on the right side when he was practicing, and Steele got snaps on the left side. So without saying it, he might have just said it.
Mm-hmm. Which is what we said the other day.
He might have been listening to us.
There we go.
He was.
We'll just see, when you do the Mike McCarthy show.
Yeah.
Tell him you understand about the footwork.
There you go.
So we would be having the same conversation if Brown goes down. And
at cornerback.
Yeah.
No, because they've been kind of at times following one guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
they always play different sides.
But normally, AB is left and Diggs is right until they decide he should follow somebody.
So DBs are just much more adaptable.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
That's what you're trying to get to.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah,
How'd
it doesn't make a difference to us.
All right, we're going to break now.
and it never made a difference to you, right?
It really didn't. I just found out later in my career I was much more comfortable at right. When I went to the Giants, but I always played left with the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. You just play left because that's where they put you. But when it came down to it, once I switched over to the right side, I'm like, whoa, it's like getting into your seat. You're like, I like this seat better. And
How much did receivers work on just one side of the field rather than the other side?
I never saw that really get to be a big deal until Dez. Otherwise, I saw all receivers lining up on all different sides.
Yeah, because Dez had to line up on the side of the bench.
What?
Supposedly.
That was the story.
Really?
At Oklahoma State.
I just thought that he just, it's like some people just have this mental block. He couldn't, as the movement, as he would change sides, he just couldn't grasp.
He was always
weak side versus strong side.
He was kind of left all the time, wasn't he?
Yeah. I thought that he.
But the urban legend at Oklahoma State was they needed him close to the sideline so they could tell him what to do.
Oh man, come on! I mean, but I do believe though, if he would have been a little bit more diverse, you could have put him in the slot.
I know.
You could have done so much with this guy, man. Just the way it turned out.
You mentioned the Oklahoma State bench. This goes back to when Michael Crabtree played at Texas Tech. I just remember they used to use the signs for defensive.
The weird signs.
Yeah, the weird signs, and they'd have like a picture of a tree or a picture
lady,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they would show it to their defense, what defense they would be. And there was one, I can't remember exactly but it was like a picture of a crab and a picture of a tree and maybe a fence. It was like, somebody defends Crabtree. It was something like that. It was.
They
funny.
needed that.
That was early Twitter, one of the memes
They needed that because they needed to stop Crabtree. He was balling.
I had a flashback to that when you were talking about the Oklahoma State bench, and there will be more Mick shots maybe in just a second.
Maybe. They might cut us off right now.
What was it? It was something Crabtree. It was.
I could add to that. My sophomore year in high school, our star running back, Stanley Boyd, he couldn't get even and odd right, the numbers.
Uh-huh.
So they gave him a blue wristband and a white wristband, so he knew which was right and which was left, even or odd.
That reminds me, my brother-in-law visited Austin training camp, and he still tells this story of Joe Bronski.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with...
And I'm Jay Novacek, and we're both with
United Ag and Turf, the the official tractor provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
So, if you need a tractor to bale some hay, a mower to cut some grass, or a gator to get some chores done,
get a John Deere at United Ag and Turf.
And then, let's get to work.
Hey, Jay, that's my line.
Well, not today.
Get to work with a John Deere tractor package that's just right for you and your budget. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com.
Back to Mick Shots.
Cowboy fans, join the NFL in supporting our nation's service members by wearing the latest Dallas Cowboys Salute to Service gear. Visit your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop or shop.dallascowboys.com, a fanatic experience to find the full assortment of Salute to Service gear.
All right, another fine performance there, Mickey Spagnola.
Yeah,
are you down with
getting
the
boring, man? He's so good.
Are you down with the red stripe going up on the helmet?
I love it.
I do too.
Yeah, love it. I'm surprised that it hadn't happened since the bicentennial year in 1976.
That is amazing, isn't it?
I thought it had happened before, but it needs to be an annual deal on the Veterans Weekend or the Salute to Service.
It is the
weekend.
Veterans Week.
Veterans Day coming up
next week, right?
Yep. And that's why they have the Salute to
Salute
Service.
to Service
on that Sunday.
and their the Medal of Honor winners. I think there's going to be 8 of them at the game. So 2 celebrations going at once.
All right. So are you concerned when it comes to the tackles, are you concerned that Steele back in college was a right tackle and not a left tackle, while Collins was
a left tackle
as last 2 years at LSU? He played left guard his sophomore year, and then he played left tackle. Or is that so long ago it doesn't matter?
That's a long time ago, right? 6 years?
Yeah.
7? 2014,
yeah.
right?
Yep. So they're the best options.
Yeah, and that's the way it's going to be. Now, I think they have to continue to give Steele some help at times. Little chipping.
And that was what I was
on.
going to ask you yesterday.
Yeah.
About how who do we help?
And
do we help Collins?
And
do we help Lyle? Because
2
he's
tight
on a different
ends,
side?
maybe 2 tight ends a lot to start to kind of get them in the flow of things. Don't just say, okay, we're going 7-step drop, 3 wide receivers, have at it. And I think that's one of the things that their adaptability has been very, very good. They've adapted to their shortcomings instead of just saying, okay, next man up, go do your job, right?
And then we have a little bit of a luxury. I mean, not that the Broncos are just a walkover, but they're missing some key pieces in those
spots with Von Miller no longer there. Bradley Chubb is hurt and out until after their bye week, it sounds like. So what's the biggest concern you have about the Cowboys this week, whether it's the opponent or mindset or whatever, where this team is right now? What is your biggest concern going into Sunday?
I don't know if it's a concern as much as it is I got to see more consistent play from the defense. Like, I think they've been improving.
I was thinking about that this morning. Go ahead.
I think they were improving. That was their best game, right? Held Minnesota to 16 points, 284 yards.
It needed to because you didn't have your quarterback.
Now, can you do it again?
Yeah.
Or was that the blue moon?
That's the question.
Because prior to that, they were having trouble holding people to less than 400 yards total offense.
And points.
And points were getting close to the 30s all the time. So now, is this turning a corner, or does it just happen to be this game? Because that's the only thing I can see holding this team back is the defense. We've talked about the chunk yards they give up all the time, and they did so that first possession, right? So, yeah, that's I think if they get in trouble at any point, it'll be because the defense is not average. If they can just be average, I think that teams are going to have a hard time beating them.
Speaking like a reporter, was it an aberration?
Yeah.
That's what you want to know.
Right.
I mean, they came in, did exactly
I like that
what
word.
they had
Aberration.
to do. Can you spell it? You want me to spell it for you? 2 B's, okay. But what I always thought was if this is going to be our trend, the rest of the NFL should be aware of this.
Right,
And
because
they
if you
should
can
know.
play defense like that with that offense.
And when your quarterback comes back.
Right.
And assuming everything is well, and we have no reason to think it shouldn't be any different than when he left, that we have got to be one of the strongest teams. One B. Two R's.
Yes.
One B. Thank you very much.
I spelled it right
you
when I
spelled
wrote
it
it
right,
down.
so you didn't listen to me.
Aren't you?
I said spoken
aren't you
like-
appreciative that I didn't correct you?
I appreciate
had you
it. Well,
correct
I was waiting
yourself.
on you. That's why I was kind of hesitating. But I knew you would. I know you got my back, right? You got my back, right?
That's why I let you do it. So
Right,
it's
I
not
see
like
that.
me
Yeah,
saying,
yeah. I would spell it with two B's and one R.
Aberration.
You notice I had to look it up.
Yeah, well, that's why you didn't say anything right off
That's
the
right,
bat.
that's
Yeah,
right.
you didn't want to embarrass
I
yourself.
don't know. When I wrote it down, it didn't look good.
Well, thank you for saving all our asses, Bill, because we were all in the dark. But no, you just want to make sure that as we go forward, that this is the trend. Because you still, once again, long season. As much as we're late in the year, this season still has some key games coming up. And you just don't want to fall into any bad habits.
Right.
You want to make sure that this team, and that's what I like about this team, they don't seem to be full of themselves.
Yeah, that's my question is, how do you keep from being full of yourself?
Because you
I don't
haven't
see
gotten
it.
anything to be
Right.
full of.
That's right. Because first of all, you got plenty of competition in the NFC. Plenty of competition. You can be humbled by the Rams. You can be humbled by the Cardinals. You can be humbled by the Packers. Well, I don't know about what happens after tonight, but still, you're talking about teams.
You
where
can
we're
be
still-
humbled by the Raiders.
Yeah,
at home.
Right, and we're just talking teams that we have on our regular season schedule.
So and here's the thing. With this offense, opposing teams know the Cowboys are going to get theirs, right? They're going to score. So they can't play cozy offense against the Cowboys. They got to let it hang out.
Yeah.
They got to go for it.
Yeah.
So because they'll know that if the Cowboys continue scoring 30 points a game, we can't sit here and run and throw when we have to.
Let's not get cute, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's just continue to play. I just love the approach, one game at a time. One game at a time. Let's look at Denver now, okay? And that's all we worry about. And that's the way they seem to approach the Vikings, even though, of course, having the bye week before that was good, but they only approach the Vikings. They're not looking at anything else. I like that.
So, actually, Mike was asked this question about his feelings of where the team is, and he said, we feel like we have something really special going on in our locker room. And then he said a couple other things. He said, but we need to keep winning. We're about beating Denver. I thought that was a really good answer, and I'm sure that was the message he gave to the team, right? You feel
Don't
like
look it down the
something
line.
going right.
Oh, well, we got these games coming up. We got this game coming up. That's all we have. I love that. And let's just put it out there. I mean, man, they keep going like this. Even if they hit a stumbling block and end up doing well in the regular season, we're not talking about playoffs. McCarthy's got to be looked at. They can talk all the trash they want. He's got to be looked at as coach of the year.
Somebody, I can't remember which station I was listening to this morning coming in. They were doing betting odds out of Vegas, and right now he's the leading in the betting odds for coach of the year.
And after all the crap that they've been giving him.
But then next week it'll change, right?
That's right. Just let us stumble a bit. Let us do something controversial. Let him make a mistake where didn't call a timeout when we thought he should have. Let that come up again. Oh, they're gonna come out of the woodworks as loud as ever.
And actually, and McCarthy actually did this, and he knew it was a cliche, but he goes, "This is the most important game because
it's the next game."
As we're out of time, close to being out of time, there was a report out of Fort Worth yesterday about Kellen Moore and the TCU head coaching vacancy.
And who wrote that?
I believe it was reported by Drew Davison of the Star-Telegram that representatives from Kellen's side had reached out to TCU. Do you have a response to that?
Is he going to leave right in the middle of the season?
Right. As long as he stays for the season.
Yeah. Don't do like the Missouri offensive coordinator. He's the head coach at Tennessee now. Heupel.
Yeah, Josh Heupel.
So Missouri's going to a bowl game. He gets the job at Central Florida. Adios. He didn't do the bowl game. And he brought his offensive line coach.
That's happened before.
He took another coach with him. They left before the bowl game.
I think that's happened more than once.
And I think Missouri ended up with the tight end coach being the
that happens. Yeah, it does happen all the time.
Yeah, but you could. What's the difference between the 2 weeks?
Well, for college football now, and this is why Gary Patterson was let go at TCU, Matt Wells at Texas Tech. There's a December signing date, December 19th or whatever the date is the early signing date now. And so these athletic directors feel like they got to get a move on to hire their new head coach and have them in place by the end of their season so they can hit the road recruiting.
Missouri wasn't playing in the playoffs, right? It was a damn bowl
my point
game.
for bringing this up, Kellen Moore is not going to TCU. And he's not going to LSU. He's not going any place, okay? He's completing this season, and he's going to be in a great position at the end of this season for an NFL head coaching job. Now, you can debate whether you prefer an NFL head coaching job or a college head coaching job.
Everybody's talking going back home. Is he from?
Because we had the opportunity.
No, Washington.
He's from Washington.
Washington,
State.
but Boise State was open last year. He got compensated here, but that
Washington State.
Nothing. And I know Drew's just doing his job. Okay, whatever. But don't believe any of that stuff about Kellen Moore and a college head coaching job right now. You would agree with that, right,
yes.
Mickey?
And I think if it is, it has to be better than nothing against TCU. But it's got to be better than.
But
TCU.
I would say even if it was LSU, he's not going to take the LSU job right now. He's on a mission
he's not
to complete this
year.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. They're talking about this year. Reaching out about the TCU.
Like he's going to take over next week.
Yeah, it's laughable that would happen. And,
they're begging.
Yeah, and it's just, but it's smart. If it did happen, it's smart that there are representatives that are getting his name out there, and it's all to Kellen's benefit that Tony Romo's mentioned it, or Troy Aikman mentioned it on a broadcast that he'd be a great candidate.
Because I want his playbook, so I want his playbook.
But the other part of it is he's been trained to be an NFL head coach for the last when did he get out of Boise State? Ever since he left Boise State. He probably hadn't been on a college campus outside of working out a quarterback or something since he left Boise State.
Probably 2013.
Yeah. It's just like the talk about Lincoln Riley in the NFL. Lincoln Riley's not going to an NFL job. He's been trained to be a college head coach, and he hasn't accomplished anything yet. And it's the same deal with Kellen Moore right here, but it's at the NFL level.
And especially for the college head coaches, they are earning at a state institution a state pension. And the money they're making and security that they probably have, they ain't walking out on that pension. I guarantee you.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so there you go. That is more than enough of Mick Shots.
Shots fired all over the world.
That's right, and we will be back again tomorrow's Friday.
Friday already.
Fabulous football Friday edition of Mick Shots. See you tomorrow.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.